Come on in. Come on in. Come on in to the webinar. Come on in. My name is Linda Peavy. I'm going to be your hostess for this evening where we're going to talk about, yes, still how you get this grant money. Even for your Black-owned business or your Black-led nonprofit, I am here to cut through the chaos. All right. So as you come in, say hello. Say hello. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Give that city and that state a shout out as you come into the webinar chat. Let me know who is here with me today. All right. All right. Come on in. I see you coming in. Come on in. Say hello to me. Give that city and the state a shout out. I'm in the land where it is very cold. It is, I don't even think it's 20 degrees outside. Um, 29 degrees. It is cold. It is cold. Hello, Mark from Brooklyn. Brooklyn's in the house. Hello, Doretha from Richmond. And Jacqueline from Liberty, North Carolina. And Derek from, let's see, Macon, Georgia. I've been to Macon, been all throughout Georgia. Hello, Carolyn. Our friend Carolyn is back with us tonight. Hello, Tamika from Mississippi, and Katina from Jackson, and Robin from, oh, there's another Brooklyn is up in the house again, and Pamela from Greenville, North Carolina. And hello, Latoya from Chi-Town, Chicago. And Lisa's coming in from Byram, Mississippi, and Betty from Charlotte, North Carolina. And ooh, it is Perquita. Is that right? Perquita from Wilmington, Delaware. Hello, everyone. Hello, Jacqueline. And let's see who else is here with us. Stacy. Stacy is coming in from Jersey. And Latrice from Los Angeles. Hello, hello, everyone. Come on in. Come on in. My name is Linda Peavy. I'm going to be your host for this evening, where we are going to talk about grants for your, yes, your Black-owned business or your Black-led nonprofit. I'm cutting through all of the chaos and giving you the information that you really, really need to know. Is going to be so important for you to get this information as you move forward on this grant journey. All right. Hello, Chris from Philly. I used to live about 30 minutes from Philadelphia in historical Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. Hello, Jacqueline. Let's see. Yes, Jackie is saying hello to Betty and Pamela, the other North Carolinians up in the chat. North Carolina is showing up strong tonight. Yes, show up, North Carolina. All right, I'm going to get started because I do have a lot of information to share with you that is very, very important now, more so than ever before. So the first thing I'm going to do is share my screen, and you're going to see just, oh, my little 30-second TV commercial, which will just give you some background information about me and why I'm able to help you. And then we are off to the races. All right, now we are live, right? So as I always do when I share my screen and we're live, it's like, come on through technology. Come through, come through. All right. That is looking good. That is looking good. All right. We are off to the races here. All right. I believe we are ready to go.
Hi, I'm Linda Peavy, owner of LaPav Consulting. My passion is to place your organization on the path to excellence. Are you struggling to communicate your message, reach target audiences, or secure funding? From marketing communications to grant writing, we achieve your goals. We've worked with high-profile clients and have secured $17 million in funding for charter schools and nonprofits. Call today to discuss what your success looks like and how LaPav Consulting can help.
Okay, so that's just a little bit of information about me. Let me make sure everybody is in the right place. So this is your grant writing for Black-owned businesses and Black-led nonprofits. And this is my live 7 o'clock session. We were on at noon and we had such a good time. We really had a good time. It was so informative, such great questions. And I know we're going to have a good time tonight as well. All right. Now, my background. Yes, they call me the grants queen because I have secured over $17 million, almost $18 million now, in funding and business development for clients. And every one of the 17 years that I've been in business with LaPov Consulting, I have been a professional grant writer. I provide grant writing workshops all over the country for many different organizations, such as the Urban League and National Association of Women Business Owners and Goldman Sachs and Jumpstart. And I'm a proud alumnus of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program. And I'm also a business coach with WBC, which is a Women's Business Centers, a part of EIDC, which is also funded by the Small Business Administration. Now, my undergrad and graduate degrees are from the University of Akron. Go Zips, go Zips. And I'm a member of Forbes Black, which is an organization of Black leaders affiliated with Forbes magazine. Now, I have a business, yes, but I used to lead a nonprofit. So I want to know who is here with me today. So put into the chat, let me know. Are you a for-profit, meaning you are a small business, or a nonprofit? Or maybe you're both, right? You might be both. Hello, Maya, living in Toledo, by the way, of Cleveland. I used to live in Toledo, Maya. Yes, yes, I lived in Toledo for a little bit of time, little bit of time. All right, all right. So let's see, both. Nonprofit, small business, nonprofit, nonprofit, small business, for profit. No, let me tell you why this is important. Because there are grants for both. You're in the right place. There are grants for profits, meaning your small businesses, and there are grants for nonprofits. And I know this is a little different, right? Because when you thought about a grant, what did you think about? A nonprofit, but everything's different now. Everything about grants is different now. So yes, first of all, there are grants for your small business. So that is the great news. All right. So you're in the right place. All right. All right. Now, how did I get here? I used to be a publishing executive in Pennsylvania. I was there for 10 years. I got hurt. When I got hurt, I had to move back home to Cleveland. Literally came home in a wheelchair because I couldn't even stand. Was on a flight. This is a story for another time, but was on a flight, flew back with Patti LaBelle. Very, very, very interesting flight back. But when I got back home, I literally couldn't even stand. It took me 2 years to recuperate. And at the end of those 2 years, I couldn't find a job because my experience was in professional publishing in Pennsylvania. And if you know anything about Cleveland, you know it is not the publishing mecca, right, of the United States. So I couldn't find a job. That's when I started LaPov Consulting, and it's been 17 years and I haven't looked back. Now, we're all family here tonight, right? Because I'm going to keep it real all night long. All right. So one of my first contracted positions after I started my company was to be the executive director of a nonprofit. I don't think I was there 2 weeks before I was called into the board of directors office and told that I had to write a grant. I had to write a grant that would pay for my salary. Now, I had never seen a grant before. I had no knowledge of grants. And now I'm being asked to write a grant to literally save my job, thus saving the organization. Now, people, you know that there are times when people who look like us, we are called in to do what? To save the day, to save the program, sometimes to save the entire organization. So if you know what I mean, give me a yes in the chat. Well, that's exactly what I did. I researched, I wrote that grant, I won that grant, and I had never seen a grant before. And I won that grant and it paid for my salary. And it saved my job and it saved the organization. And I knew that, yes, you can write and win grants with no experience. I was certainly able to do it, and you can too. But it also taught me what you can do with grant money, right? How about hire help, even contractors? I know you must be tired of wearing all 20 hats by yourself. Oh, look at all the yeses. Oh, yes. You know what I mean. You know what I mean, right? Yes, 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 yes. But we do it anyway. We do it anyway. But I want you to think about what you could do with grant money. You could start your organization. Some of you have not even started. right? Or expand. So we'll talk more about what you can do with grant money as we move on. Now, what else will we talk about? Why we're even here? Why is this class important? Some keys to funding. I'm going to give you some grant basics. Then how do you prepare to apply? How do you get grant ready? Right? And what do you write in the application? And how do you write the application that is getting you notice in a sea of applications? And oh, is that going to be more important than ever before now? Right? And then I want to show you that there's available funding for you right now, even with all of the noise. As a Black organization, is it more difficult? Is it going to be more difficult? Yes. But you need to know that there are organizations that support you, and I will show you, right, just a few of the grant opportunities that are available. And then we're going to do a thorough Q&A. Now, this is your opportunity to ask a grants expert and a grant instructor questions about grants. So this is not the time to be shy. So I want you to drop your questions in either the chat or the Q&A as we move along. All right, don't be shy. Ask your questions. We will get to them at the end. And then I have a bonus surprise for you. All right? All right. Now, also, you should know I'm here to help you. I am truly, truly, truly here to help you. Therefore, you're going to get a copy of this recording, right? It will be free. I am not going to charge for this knowledge because you need it and you need it now more than ever. So you're going to get it. You will get it tonight and it will be free, right? And you'll have it forever. Like there's no expiration date on this replay. All right. So don't worry. I do go fast because I have a lot of information to share with you, but you'll get the replay. And then from the replay, you can always take your screenshots. All right. Now, why are we even here? Because, oh my goodness, now more so than ever before, we as Black organizations, we need access to funding. And it shouldn't always be about loans. We want grant money. Yes, we want grant money because grant money is free to us, right? But what you need to know is that you can do this. You can write grants. It's not what it used to be. You're not writing some 300-page document for 3 months at a time. I know all about it because that is exactly what I used to do. Some grant applications are 2 and 3 pages. 2 and 3 pages. You can do this. What you must know is that there's a process to winning. After having won almost $18 million now, I can tell you that there's a process and it's about more than you just answering a question and sending off an application. So I'm going to show you the process today, right, for winning. Now, let's go through what is going on right now with grants. Now, when the current administration released their executive document a couple of weeks ago, right? Executive order, freezing federal grants and loans. The world was in an uproar, especially the United States. I received so many calls. Oh my gosh. Questions, queries, right? What I want you to know and to understand very, very clearly is that federal grants do not equal all grants. People thought that there were no more grants because there was a freeze on federal grants and loans, which has since been rescinded. Well, what you need to know is that I rarely even talk about federal grants. The grants that I talk about are your foundation grants and your corporate grants. So with your foundation grants, they're coming from your private and community and family foundations. They typically go to nonprofits. And then your corporate grants, right? A lot of those grants are going to small businesses. So that's what you need to know. The money is still available, right? Because this money, right, is completely separate from federal grants. And the reason why I hardly ever discuss federal grants is because, first of all, they're typically large dollar. They require experience, right? In your organization and writing. They require oftentimes partners. Now, yes, some of the state and county and city government grants will be impacted by what's happening on the federal level, but that's not what I'm going to be talking about tonight. And I rarely talk about federal grants. So I want you to be encouraged, especially when you see exactly how much money is available. That has nothing to do with federal grants. So I'm so glad you just showed up to get the right information. And also, 22% of small nonprofits being nonprofits that are between $100,000 and $499,000, 22% receive government grants, right? That means what? 78% receive grants from other sources, right? So I don't want you to be of the mindset that, oh my gosh, this is going to affect me, tremendously because there's no more grant money. Nothing could be further from the truth. Grants come from thousands of resources outside of the federal government. But what I want you to do is focus on diversifying your funding so that you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. Your revenue should consist of, yes, some grants, but also how about some sponsorships or individual donors or corporate contracts, right? You would be surprised that corporate contracts don't just go to large organizations, they go to coaches, consultants, your solopreneurs, right? Your sole proprietors, your LLCs. Yes, all get contracts, and not just contracts from the federal government, right? Because we know there's a lot going on there, but from corporations. So be encouraged. Now, let's talk about DEI for a second, because we know there's been a mandate that all of these organizations that the current administration wants to have control over, that they eliminate DEI. Now, what I want you to know and understand is that it doesn't mean you change who you are helping or who you are targeting. So if your target population, the people that you help are minorities, or maybe they're African American children, right? Or people from underrepresented communities, that's who you help. So you continue helping those targeted communities. You don't change who you are helping because this community needs help, right? But what I want you to do is in that program that you are creating, or that product or that service, whether it's a restaurant or a homeless ministry, is to focus on the relevancy to the funder, to the foundation, and where they are providing grants. Make sure there's a match. More important than ever before, you will need community connections. Make sure your programming is tight, right? Make sure you have partnerships. And above all, make sure you can show impact in the program that you are providing, so that regardless of who your target population is, you have a phenomenal program that will be considered for grant funding. And I'll talk a little bit more about each one of these areas as we move along. And sometimes you just have to get creative with your narrative and with the language that you use. All right. Okay. Now, grant basics. What do you need to know? Grants are not paid back. Full stop. All right. So for the next minute, I'm only talking to nonprofits. Get your 501c3. You don't want there to be any reason or any excuse for an organization to not fund you. Now, even if you are a church or a school, you still will need that 501c3, because foundations now are mandated that if they're going to give money to nonprofits, you must have your 501c3. That's your tax exempt charitable organization designation by the IRS. Now, the good news is that it used to take about 6 months to process these applications. Now it's only taking 4 to 6 weeks, actually. Not long at all. Now, from this point forward, I'm talking to all of you, everybody, small businesses, nonprofits alike. All right. Look at this next slide, everybody. Look at this slide. This is what I need for you to understand. This is U.S. grant annual funding. This is from foundation giving, corporation giving, and to a smaller extent, bequest giving, right? Those are bequests when you are going to put into your will, for example, where you want your money to go after you're deceased. But most of this money is coming from foundations and corporations. $189 billion over the course of 1 year. And guess what? In 2024, that number is going to have increased. This is just from foundation and corporation giving. Do you see federal grants anywhere? anywhere on this slide. This is why I need for you to be encouraged because this is a lot of money. $189 billion. Think about this number, but don't be intimidated. Don't think, oh my gosh, that's too much. There's no way I'll ever get a piece of that. Because at the end of the day, you need to focus on what you need because you just need a little bit of this $189 billion, right? You need what you need. So I want everybody to think about this. And right now in the chat, I want you all to write down, I just need a little bit. I just need a little bit. That's right. Everybody right now, focus on this. Think about this. I just need a little bit. I see some great questions. Great questions. So keep asking them. That's right, Doretha. I just need a little bit. Jacqueline, that's right. She just needs a little piece of this pie. Glory, do you need all $189 billion? Eureka, do you need it all? Dan, will you accept just a little bit? Charlene, right? We don't need it all. I'll take a slice of this pie because this is a very large pie. Dwayne, Dwayne says, I'll just take a good amount. All right, just like a good amount. But what I want you to see is one, there's plenty of money. Don't let anybody discourage you from applying because that's the ultimate goal, right? To keep you in fear, to keep you discouraged, to just get you to give up, right? There's money available. It has nothing to do with federal grants. All right. That's why I'm so glad you hopped on tonight so that you can get the truth, right? Now, because they call me the grants queen and it is cold, it's chilly in Cleveland tonight, I'm going to be giving you hot cups of tea. And this is the first one. It is called Grammarly. Now, if you use Grammarly right now, give yourself some love in this chat right now. If you use Grammarly, what is it? It is a free software editing tool that I said it was free is free. You download it onto your computer. So as you are writing this grant, it is self-correcting, right? Because now it uses AI. It is remarkable and it is free. Now, who is using Grammarly? Jessica. Yeah, Susie uses it. Monique uses it. It is amazing. It is amazing. I need for you to download it. Why is this even important? Why am I talking about this? Because I do not want you submitting grant applications full of grammatical errors. It doesn't matter if you are a professional writer. I'm a professional writer, a professional grant writer, and a professional editor. I would not write without Grammarly. And courtesy of Grammarly, we have this great article, Improve Writing Skills Dramatically by Doing These 15 Things. Download it, and download Grammarly. All right. Now, what are we doing? We are preparing to apply for grants. Get your documents in order. Your EIN, which is your employer identification number, right? Now, nonprofits, you need that 501c3. Now, you also need to be a legitimate business, right? You need your articles of incorporation, whether you are a sole proprietor, an LLC, or an S Corp, doesn't matter, right? Make sure you're in good standing with your state. That's important. Check with your Secretary of State's website. Make sure you've got your business license if you are a small business. Now, nonprofits, you know it is mandated that you have a board of directors. It is a requirement. So get that list together. For profits, if you have a board, great. Get your list together. Get letters of support. Let the foundations know that you have organizations that support you. Where are they coming from? It could be your pastor, the church, politicians, the mayor, if you know the mayor, community leaders, right? Your vendors. Now, financial statement. If you are currently operating, you need your financial statement. That's your balance sheet and your profit and loss statement, or in other terms, an income statement. All right. Now, the next one is super, super important. All of you, each and every one of you, you need an operating budget. Now, that is just a document where you are going to be listing what you think your expenses are going to be for a year, right? Which will let you know, like, how much money do you need to operate over the course of a year? So that creates your operating budget. And it also will let you know approximately how much grant money you might need. And oftentimes, after you create this budget, you realize you don't need as much grant money as you may think. So you put down what you think your estimated expenses are going to be for the year. That document is so helpful. All right. All right. Now I'm going to go through the typical components of a grant application, and I'm going to give you best practices for writing every component. Now, the first section that you are going to see is called the summary abstract. Do not be fooled. You're going to see this first, but you always write it last because you're going to write your grant application and then go back through it and start pulling out the most compelling components and dump them into the summary, because the summary is the first impression that that foundation is going to see of you. So it has to be tight. All right. All right. Now, this is critical. Mission. I often get asked, Linda, I'm a small business. Do I really need a mission? Absolutely, you need a mission statement, because your mission is going to lead you to the foundation that wants to give you money, because you need to align your mission to the mission of that organization. So if you are like laser focused on K through 12 education, right? Make sure you are seeking money from a foundation that also has a passion for K through 12 education. And guess what? You're not changing your mission statement based on what foundation you seek money from. No, your mission doesn't change. It defines who you are and what you do and your goals. You should be seeking organizations that align to your mission. So if you don't have a mission statement, that is homework 101. All right. All right. Now, history. Just don't ever leave that section blank, because all of you have a history, even you startups. Because now I want you to talk about what was the impetus or the catalyst for you starting your organization. You include it because it becomes a part of the history of that organization, right? So never leave that blank. Now, next, leadership, that's easy. That's your CEO, your COO, your board of directors. Always don't ever exclude your board of directors. They are very much a part of your leadership team. Now, this next section is where you are going to set yourself apart from the pack. It's how you describe your organization. And what I want you to do is think about one word: impact. What has been the impact of your organization on those for whom you serve? And it doesn't matter if you have a nonprofit or for-profit. And I need for you to use real numbers. So let's say you have a homeless ministry. How many homeless people have you placed in shelters? Let's say you have a restaurant, a for-profit restaurant. How many people have you served in your community, right? Let's say you haven't even opened yet, right? You have maybe a tutoring academy that you want to open to help middle school kids to increase their reading. You could indicate in the grant that I want my impact to be that once the kids go through my academy, they will have increased their reading scores by 3%. So it doesn't matter whether or not you have opened or are opening. You need to talk about either the impact that you've had or that you desire to have using real numbers. All right? All right. Okay, okay, okay. Now, this is where you may need to rethink how you see your organization, because I need for you to write as if you are addressing an issue or solving a problem. It doesn't matter what type of industry you're in. Doesn't matter if you're a nonprofit or a small business, you must write this way. And there's always a problem. Let's say you have a bakery. A bakery wants to locate in the downtown community, right? It needs a $20,000 grant to relocate. Now you might be asking, right? Well, what issue is she solving? She's making what? Chocolate chip cookies all day. Well, maybe she decided to open up a vegan bakery, because you know vegans really don't have a lot of great places at all to buy baked goods. So she's resolving their issue. Or maybe it's all about economic development and she wants to literally contribute to an underserved area in her community. So she wants to go in there and make a difference with her new bakery. You need to know what issue you're addressing, because that is how foundations give. They give according to a particular area of interest, right? Where they want to give their money. And you need to align to that. Now, how do you find out where and how they give? You go to their websites. The problem is 90% of foundations don't even have a website. That's where you have to get very clever in finding information out about them. And I'll give you one of my secret weapons, and that is LinkedIn. LinkedIn. All right. Now, this is where a lot of you get into problems. Yes. I've been a coach for almost 17 years now. And when I ask my clients, who do you serve? Who do you help? Right? I mentioned I serve as a coach for women's business centers, which is funded by the SBA. You know what I hear too often? Too often. Linda, I help everybody. Like I help everybody. If somebody comes my way, I help them. Here's the issue that I need for you to understand. You cannot help everybody. You cannot help everybody. This is where you get burnt out, right? Some of you have 5, 6, 7 things that you want to do in people and target populations you want to serve. No, you get burnt out. You have to ask yourself, of everything I'm doing, who am I best serving? Who is best being helped by my organization? All right? Because if you tell me, Linda, I help the homeless, I'm going to ask you, the homeless who? Homeless veterans, homeless mothers, homeless children. Niche down. It will always be easier for you to find grants the more you niche that target population, because you know foundations give according to a target population. And it can be based on geography. Maybe you have that restaurant, right? Maybe it's a Jamaican restaurant, right? So your target population is people in the area that love Jamaican food, right? It can be something as simple as that. All right. Now, get excited, people. Get excited about writing these applications, because at the end of the day, you're telling your story and write finally to somebody who really wants to hear it, who wants to hear about what you're doing, right? And what lives you've been able to change and what outcomes you've been able to achieve, right? Because the grant application is a way for you to tell your story. And there's like no better way of showing impact than using video. It is a game changer. I'm telling you, it is a game changer. When you meet with that foundation and you show them that video of what you do or your testimonials, it is a game changer. And speaking of testimonials, if you're currently operating, have your clients pick up their cell phone and give you a 30-second testimonial and put it on the home page of your website. This becomes important, right? Ways to show your impact. Now, all of you have a decision to make. You have a decision to make. Now, are you asking for operating grant money or program project grant money? Now, you know, we love to get operating grant money, because when you get an operating grant, you decide where to put that money. You can spend it on your salaries, your lease, your IT, right? Your marketing. But only about 32% of foundations give this general operating support. Most grant money is given to a particular program or project or service. So let's say you have that restaurant and you want to start a delivery service. That would be a particular project of your for-profit. All right. Now, this is critical. You must apply to multiple foundations. People, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. Why do you think you have to apply to multiple foundations? Let me know in the chat. Why do you think this is important? Why do you think you have to apply to multiple foundations? Why? Why? Why do you think you have to apply? Right, Dwayne, not everyone will give you the money, right? Pamela, better your chances of receiving the money. Absolutely. Practice makes perfect. Maya, yes. But there we go, Carolyn. Carolyn got it right on the money. Grants are not guaranteed. Do not let anybody whisper in your ear that they can guarantee you some grant money. I want you to do one of those military turns and run in the other direction, because you're about to be scammed. I hear horror stories almost every day of people being scammed because somebody said they could guarantee them some grant money. Oh, it's all over the internet. Just apply. This money will be available to you. All scams. All scams. So be careful and just know, apply to multiple foundations at all times. At all times, right? This is not a one and done industry. All right. And when you're describing your service or your project or whatever it is that you want funded, talk about why it's been successful. Is it something new? Then why will it be successful? And why is it that you are the person to address that issue and why now? But you're always writing as if there's an issue or problem that will set your application apart because a lot of people don't write that way. All right. Now, this is important because I cannot possibly overstate the importance of each and every one of you. You too, Carolyn. Did you do that homework? 5 organizations. Each and every one of you should have a community partner. This is, oh gosh, this is the difference. This will make a difference in your grant application because foundations do not expect you to work alone. And you can't. It doesn't work that way. You need community partners. I want to give you an example. Let's say you have an accounting firm. It's tax time, it's tax season, right? You have an accounting firm. You need grant money. Let's say you give a tax talk 1 hour every month at your local library. They're going to promote you, which will raise your level of visibility in your community. And let me tell you, foundations, oftentimes, they're watching to see who's doing what in their community so that they can determine where to give grant funding, right? So this becomes important, whether it's the Urban League, HBCUs, 100 Black Men of America, find a partner. And I'm not speaking of necessarily an agreement where there's an exchange of money, not necessarily. It's the nature of the relationship. Let me give you another example of a lady that wants to open a reentry program. Now, reentry, right, meaning that she's helping those who have been in the criminal justice system reacclimate themselves into society so that they can be productive members of society, right? Who do you think she should be partnering with? She must be able to get to the prisoner before they are released to make sure that they qualify for the program. Into the chat, who do you think she should be working with? Because everybody wants the recidivism rate to be low. That's the rate at which prisoners go back to jail. Everybody wants that to be low. The city, everybody, the community, everybody. Who should she be working with? Right, the prison systems, right? The prison systems. Absolutely. She's got to be able to talk to the warden, right? What about the sheriff's office? Into the chat, who else do you think she should be working with? She's working with ex-offenders, right? To make sure that they get reacclimated back into society. Exactly. Maya, the parole department. And Carolyn, churches that have these programs. Derek, absolutely, the probation board. What about organizations for transitional housing? They need somewhere to live, right? That's right, Charlene, right? Took it the words right out of my mouth. Transitional housing, right? Doretha, halfway houses, right? You see how this is not difficult. A therapist, Dan, yes. Mental health and wellness counseling. This is not difficult. Do you see how easy it was to come up? I think there's 8 or 9. Just like this. Just like this. This is what I want every single one of you to do. I want you to name five organizations that you are going to partner with based on your program or your service or your organization. Whether you are for profit or nonprofit, doesn't matter. Who are you going to connect with in your community? And you can write it in the grant application, even if you haven't met with them. You can write that you're going to be meeting with them. But I want you to name 5. There's homework, 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 homework for all of you. Name 5. All right. Yes, Division of Health and Social Services. That's crucial, right? To provide social services. Now, you have to list your goals because you're asking for free grant money. So you have to be able to list, what do you expect to happen, right? If you get the grant money, what do you expect to happen? You need goals. Let's say I have a literacy program because I want to teach kids how to read. And my goal is to reduce the poverty rate, right? Increase the literacy rate. And I write as my goal, I want to reduce the poverty rate in Cleveland, but that's not a SMART goal. A SMART goal is what? Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So a SMART goal would say, I want to reduce the poverty rate by 5% in Cleveland for Hispanic children under the age of 5 within a 5-year time frame. I want everybody into the chat. What did I do? How did I change that goal into a SMART goal? What did I do? What did I do? Because you're going to have to write SMART goals in your grant application, right? So what did I do? What did I do? Quantitative. I sure did. Katina, that's exactly what I did, right? Deanne details. There we go, Maya. I gave measurables. I gave measurables, right? Quantified everything 5%. Cleveland, Hispanic children under the age of 5, 5-year time frame. This is what you have to do. Add data and stats to your goal to get to your SMART goal, right? This is just a proven formula. Add data and stats. All right. Now we're on to the money. This is how you're going to lay out your use of the grant money. This is going to be your grant budget, but you must itemize these expenses. So let's say you want a $50,000 grant to hire an executive director, right? You can't just write, I need 50 grand for an ED in the application. No, you have to be specific. Let's say it's $50,000. Is that a contractor? How much are you paying that person per hour in that amount? How many hours are they going to be working every week? How many weeks out of the year? So the numbers go into typically an Excel sheet for your budget, but then how you are describing your use of it, right, goes into the budget narrative. Got that? Numbers into the budget and Excel file, and then your explanation of how you're using the money into the budget narrative. And even if the grant doesn't ask you, I always write a budget narrative. Always, always. Now, I know some of you are thinking, Linda, this sounds good. This sounds good, but I don't have time. I don't have time to write these grants. I don't have time to write these grants. Now, remember I said at the beginning that some grants are only 2 and 3 pages. That was accurate. That was accurate. And I have a question for all of you, especially the ones that are saying, I don't have time for this. But I want you all to answer this question into the chat. Do you have time to get free money? Like, do you have time to get free money? Let me see if anybody in the chat has time to get free money, because I don't think people have time to get any free money. Oh my goodness, I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes indeed. I'm saying I will make time. I'm saying I have all the time in the world. I'm saying yes. I'm saying always. I'm saying I don't have time not to get free money, right? So it seems to me, oh, I'm saying absolutely. It seems to me that you got time to get free money. So if you've got time to get free money, I need for you to spend just a little time, right? On the process, to get the free money. All right. This is what you're going to do. So this is a game changer here. Like if you don't take anything else away from this entire webinar, this is it. This is the slide. This is it. This is sometimes as or more important than anything you will write in the grant application. Yes, you have to meet with the foundation first. And there's nothing to be scared of. They want to meet with you. They want to meet with you. They're considering giving you their grant money, and you want to meet with them because you're trying to get their grant money. And guess what? In this meeting, oh, oftentimes they will give you extra information about that grant that's not even on their grant website. So this becomes vital. You need to build this relationship. And people, this is a 30-minute Zoom meeting. Now, if you are in close proximity to the foundation, meet with them in person. But if it's a national grant, you're meeting 30-minute Zoom. I say this all the time. I always think about my one client. 30-minute meeting, $30,000. 30-minute meeting, $30,000. Because the programming and the missions aligned, right? And it made the difference. All right. So this is what you're going to do. To set up this meeting, you're sending an email to the foundation. In that email, you are describing your organization. You're saying how you help those for whom you serve and who they are. And then you are aligning your mission or your programming or service, right? Or product. Maybe you're an inventor. I have those two products to the organization, to the foundation. You are never asking for money in this email. No, that is one of the best ways to get a rejection letter. You're not asking for money in this email. You're asking for a meeting. And in the meeting, you're asking for money. All right. All right. Now, it's time to find the money. We're going to do some grant research. Now, the Foundation Directory Online is the leading source of information on grants in the United States, but they give you information about the organizations that provide the grants. So if you're in Detroit and you have a program where you are serving veterans, you're trying to get them into transitional housing, you input that information, you push a button, they will give you a list of organizations that provide grants for your type of program. $50 a month, or guess what? Free at your local library. Now, if you want to pursue federal grants, they are still available, by the way. They are still available. Literally, just had a long meeting with one of the grant professional associations that I belong to. Grants, the federal grants are still available. Go to grants.gov. If you are a church or maybe a faith-based organization, yes, you can get grants too. There are grants right now as I speak for churches. Lilly Foundation, formerly called the Lilly Endowment, are the leading funder of religious organizations. Grant Gopher is another one. I love Grant Watch, $20 a week. You can suspend your subscription after $20, but they give you the actual grant and the deadline and the sponsor of the grant and the contact information, right? And then Grant Station is $200 a year. And then Grant Watch is also $200 a year, right? So Grant Watch, $20 a week, or you can spend $200 for the whole year. Grant Station, that's a flat $200 for the year. All right. And they also provide a lot of information about grants. Now, Urban Awareness USA, they're Black owned. So support them. Support them. And they provide free training. They have a phenomenal newsletter. Tell them Linda sent you. Free, free, free. Right. Now they have some paid services, but they have a lot of free services too. I want to show you how you find grants. This is Grant Station, right? They're $200 for the whole year. I want you to go over to areas of interest. Every category you see probably has 10 or 15 subcategories so that you can really drill down on what you provide, what you serve, who you serve, how you serve them. Are you a small business entrepreneur? That's a category. You help the homeless, that's a category. You help veterans, that's a category, right? Maybe you have some type of program in health and wellness. Maybe you're a fitness coach. It's amazing. Now, the target population is the same. Who are you helping? Veterans, the homeless, African Americans, senior citizens, people who've aged out of foster care. Input your information, push a button, you will get a list of grants. Now, let me say something to all of you about location because this is more important than ever. Because while they're providing chaos on the federal level when it comes to grants, it is going to be more important than ever before that you tune in to your local grant makers because you know it's easier to get local grant money. Like, don't be seduced by these $2 and $3 million government grants. They're very difficult to get. Start local. It's easier to get local money. You can Google local community foundation. Again, Google local community foundation and meet with them. But don't disregard the national grant makers, right? An organization, a foundation could be headquartered in Texas. Doesn't mean they're not giving money to you and you're in Connecticut. It's about the search and how do you search? And then, yes, my global community, absolutely. This is for you as well. You don't have to have an organization here in the US. You could live in the US. Maybe you're serving people in Africa. You can get grants. Maybe you live in Africa and you serve people in Africa. Yes, you can get grants. All right, so this happens to be Grant Station. Now, I have some grants. I won't go through all of these for you, but I'm showing this to you so that you understand that I know what's coming out about the DEI. They want to remove the terminology, but you need to know that there are organizations, and some of these are major organizations because I've been in the rooms with them that have doubled down. They are in such support of helping communities of color. And then others are being more creative with their language, right? They know who they want to target, right? for their being a little bit more creative with their language. I won't go through all of these. Annuity Freedom Fund, financial literacy for Black organizations. Pearl, they used to be called Aunt Jemima. They have a program now that if you have any type of organization that helps Black women and Black girls, Pearl Grant, right? You have a nonprofit, click support Black charities. Operation Hope, they are absolutely laser focused on helping to build 1 million Black businesses. They're at the $400,000 level. Do you have a brick and mortar, maybe a physical location? The Wish Grant or the Main Street Grant. LISC, they fly under the radar screen. They've given away $9 billion since 1979, and they are laser focused on communities of color. Shea Moisture, are you opening up a hair care salon, especially a Black hair care salon? They have a grant. NAACP, go to that page. They have multiple grants geared towards our community. Are you a documentarian? You're creating a film, the Ford Foundation, one of the largest foundations in the world, right? They have a grant. Now, let's go to Amarillo because some of you are thinking, Linda, this is not for me. I'm too small. I'm a solopreneur. Organizations like Amarillo, they literally focus on giving grants to super small organizations, right? Or you might say, look, I'm one person. I don't have some paid staff. I don't have some huge organizational chart. I don't even pay myself. You know that all volunteer organizations get grants too. All right. There's a National Black Business Pitch competition going on right now. Lilly Endowment, they have a Black church grant and they have a grant that's geared towards worship. You won't see this on the news, right? You won't see this on the news. All right. Startups, Busy and Sky's the Limit, both have startup grants. Now, I know I have a lot of women on here with me. I won't go through all of these, just a few. Hello Alice, sign up. They have grants. Cartier, the jewelry company, they have a grant. Amber Grants for Women, they give away $30,000 every single month. This month, they focus on fitness and health for $10,000, and then another $10,000 goes to startups. Do you need a significant amount of money? 37angels.com. All they do is invest in women's businesses up to $150,000. All right. Now, banks. Into the chat. Let me know. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about banks and money? Banks and money. Banks and money. Keep asking your questions. I see some good questions. Loans, right? Loans. What else? Ah, denied. Yes. Yes. Pay back with interest. High interest. Someone just said no, like no. Did you know that banks are some of the largest providers of grant money in the country? This is why you have to think beyond federal grants and what's going on at the federal level. Banks are some of the largest providers of grant money. It's not your branch manager that you go to or your loan officer. Usually it's a VP. I'm going to drop the titles in the chat. VP of Economic Development or Community Development or Community Reinvestment. And I'm going to give you 4 hot leads right now. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, TD Banks, and Truist, Truist, Truist. I'm in Ohio. One of the largest foundations in Ohio belongs to Key Bank, right? So this is the information you need. Like, has nothing to do with federal grants, right? This is the information you need. Now, as far as AI is concerned, it is fantastic. It's not coming, it's here. But if you're using it, please be careful. Use it as a tool and not a replacement. There is no such thing as you going into AI and pushing a button and poof, there's a perfect grant application. It just doesn't work that way. It will re-edit, it will retool, it will rewrite, but you have got to be able to write your basic grant application based on your mission and your need statement and your history and your program or project or your service. And then you feed that into AI, because if you know anything about AI, it's about the prompts. You have to feed it your information. All right, so just keep that in mind. It is a tool. It is never, ever, ever going to be a replacement. All right. Now, I'm going to get right to my bonus surprise because I'm here to help you. Right. And I know at this juncture, you need help. I created a grant writing course. This is how I won $17 million. I created the course so that you could do the same. And it includes my coaching. And that becomes very important because, again, I don't want you not knowing where to go, how to write. It is about more than just answering some questions, right? I need to help you get in a position where you are winning grants, not just writing a lot of grants. Now, the course will teach you how to write every part of that grant application, the mission, the impact, the need statement, every part. We will teach you how to research. This is an online course. Go at your own pace. How do you find the grants? But let's say you set up that meeting with the foundation. You come into the Facebook group. We have a private Facebook group. Come into the group. Ask me for help. Let us know. I'm meeting with a foundation. I can tell you what to say. How do you say it? What do you bring with you? Whether or not you're ready. What did you send the organization on a preliminary basis, right? Now, the course will teach you how to write your budget, your grant budget, even your operations budget. But do you know how much you should be asking for? Or do you ask for operating money or program project money? You come into the Facebook group and you ask, right? And that's the help that you get along with the course. You get 12 modules, 35 lessons, right? Everything's downloadable. But this is where this course is very different than what you might have ever seen in the past. I've been in this industry 17 years. I've been hired to build applications, right? To literally create the questions for the grants. I've used those questions to build the course. So in this course, you are answering real grant questions so that you create this beautiful template so that when you are done and you've answered the questions the way in which I'm asking you, you're ready to start applying for grants. So you're ready to go, right? And then you get real grant examples so that you see what it looks like. Now, I do something nobody else in this country right now is doing. With this course, you get a list of 600 organizations that provide grants, 600. And then that private Facebook group, I tell you, as the young kids say, the group is lit. It just is. Because the students want all the other students in the Facebook group to get grants. That's why they literally put more grants in the Facebook group than I do. They're constantly dropping grants. There are so many grants in the Facebook group. A couple of weeks ago, they started 8 different chat groups just to be able to work with each other. This is about a community of support for you so that you know what you're doing. Like there's no time to be lost. There's no time to be confused. It's time to get this money because there are too many forces available that don't want you to have it, right? And then I also give you an hour of group coaching so that you can be successful. That's a live group coaching with me directly. That's not one and done. That's every single month, every single month. Now, this is not even what you're paying. You're paying nowhere near this for the course because I'm making sure that this is affordable to you. But I've had it audited 3 times. So this is what the course is worth. It's comparable to the university grant writing courses because of my skill level. So the 12 modules are worth $3,549. The videos are worth $599. The funding list is worth $500. You get workbooks, planners, grant trackers worth $350. This is what you need to see right here. Yes, the course is valued at $5,000. And actually, you get more than you do even with a lot of the university courses. My regular price under regular times, $997. I know this is needed now, and I know it's helping organizations get funded. So it's $497. That's the sale price. I'm trying to make it as affordable as I possibly can because it is working. But guess what? You hopped on the webinar, and I know you could have been somewhere else tonight at 7 o'clock, but you let me know that you need the help. So for the next 3 days and 3 days only, you're getting an additional $200 off. As I take a little sip. So what does that leave? That leaves $297 for everything I just talked about. This is the whole course. The Facebook group, the group coaching call live, $297 for everything. I truly try to make this so that the cost is not a barrier because you need this, right? You need the help, but you have to use the code to get the additional $200 off, FEB13. Now, if you want to make two payments, you need extra help, that's fine. You pay $175 now and $175 in 30 days. But I don't drip the course. You get everything now, even if you only pay the $175, you get everything now. So one payment, you just want to make one payment, $297. The payment plan is $175 a month for 2 months. Put a T on the end of the code if you're going to get the 2-month plan and let us know that you want the 2 months. And you read right at the bottom, course never expires. When do you hear that? I told you from the beginning, I'm here to help you. And I am. I am. Because I feel like they're just like throwing everything specifically at us. So I'm here to help you. You get the course, the Facebook group, the coaching. It's tax deductible, by the way. It's tax deductible, by the way. If you are a nonprofit, it is an expense. If you are a for-profit, write it off totally as an educational and business expense. And yes, you get a certificate of completion at the end. All right. So $297, use the code FEB13. If you want a 2-month payment plan, use code FEB13T. All right. You've got 3 days until Sunday. If you want to buy the course, the link is in the chat. In the chat, if you want to buy the course. Let's say you want to pay the $297. Hit $497 because you're getting the $200 off of the $497. So hit $497. It will bring you to this page here. And put your coupon. Excuse me, you have a coupon, right? FEB13. It will take off $200. Now you're paying $297 for everything. Now you see this little block here. This is important. That is a 1-hour VIP session with me, private session with me. It's 1 hour. It's $495 for the hour because we do a strategy session. Oh, you leave with complete clarity. Because before you and I are going to talk about grants, I'm going to go through your mission, your vision, your infrastructure, your target population, and whatever your product or your service is. And then we're going to talk about some local and national grants. It's $495. You get the strategy notes and the video. The only time you'll see it for $195 is if you add it onto the price of the course. You could add it to the $297. Now we're doing something special to help those who need just extra help. We offer buy now, pay later, 4 months, same as cash. Yes, for the $297, or if you add on the $195, Affirm, Afterpay, and Klarna. 4 months, same as cash. You might get a grant before you've even paid for the course. This is how you do the 4 months, same as cash. Hit the link, put in your code. Now you're paying $297. If you want the one VIP session, right? You leave with complete clarity because oftentimes as entrepreneurs, we have 10,000 ideas in our heads. You will leave focus with one, all right? So check the box if you want that one-on-one coaching. Put in your email address and then go over to the payment box. Keep hitting boxes until you get to this box where you see Affirm, Klarna, and Afterpay. The first box, you will say pay another way because it's asking for credit cards. You'll say pay another way. There'll be another box you hit other payment options until you get to this block where you see Affirm and Klarna. And there's a little drop down menu where you can pay with Afterpay, but you can also use a credit card, bank withdrawal, right? Cash App, Pay, Google Pay, just trying to make it easy. You want to make the 2-month payment plan with us? You can do that too. Hit the 2 times 275. That's our standard payment plan. 2 payments of $275, but you have a coupon. So input that coupon, FEB13T, T for 2 months payment plan. It will take off $100. You're paying $175 a month for 2 months. And yes, you can add on the $195. All right. Now I'll do this live in a second when we're done, just so you know how to get in for sure. But I want everybody right now to look at this screen because this is Whitney. Whitney didn't think she would ever get any grants. She has a doula organization because she's concerned about communities of color, and women having healthy births. She started local. She got $40,000 from the Southern Power Fund. And if you have a utility company in your community that has a foundation, you should probably be reaching out to them. They have pretty large endowments. And then she went national. National Birth Equity Collaborative gave her $50,000. I thought she was done. She thought she was done. She ended up with $200,000 from all of the grants for a 200 and some odd dollar investment. That was just 1 year, by the way. That was in 1 year. A month ago, Kanisha got $100,000 doing exactly what I'm asking you to do, right? Just a month ago. Tranquility Point Therapeutic Massage, a massage company that got a $20,000 grant. They said, we're so very thankful and grateful for your course. It's been life-changing for our business. Alicia got a great Thanksgiving gift, $40,000 grant, right? Christina is an educator. She had never written a grant before, had never gotten any grants. She got a $10,000 grant and a year's mentorship. And she said, I would not have had the confidence at all to follow through on applying for grants if it wasn't for the grant writing course. She was scared too, but you know what she did? She did it scared. Guess who won the LegalZoom grant? Emily, a student, $10,000. Quanisha got a $750 Walmart grant. Walmart grants are difficult to get, but we met. I remember we met with the one-on-one, and she says, thanks, Linda Peavy, because that one-on-one is getting my organization funded. All right. Now, when we get to the Q&A, ask me the difference between a grant and a sponsorship. And we're almost there. I want you to see one other thing. Contracts. I mentioned it earlier. I mentioned them earlier. Contracts are important. Diversify your funding. You do not have to be a major corporation to get a contract. You can be a sole proprietor, a coach, a consultant, and not all contracts are government contracts. There are so many corporate contracts. I'm giving a special webinar with my friend Bethany, who has secured over $30 million in contracts. We're teaching you how to get a contract. So that's Monday. The link is in the chat. All right. All right. Now, also, those of you who have an interest in AI, right? I created an AI grant guide, 10 steps to easier and faster grant writing. And guess what? I even gave you the prompts, right? It's $99, right? You hopped on, you get it for 17 bucks. 17 bucks. A complete intro to how to write grants with AI. All right? All right. Now, it is Q&A time. It is Q&A time. Oh, I see. Great questions. Now, what I want you to do before you leave anywhere, please don't leave until you do this, because I want you to do this for you and not for me. It is February 13th. We're at the beginning of the year. There are more grants available now than at any other time because many grants are what? First come, first serve. So like now is the time, and now is the time anyway, because we don't know what is getting ready to happen in these next few months. So please pursue this. Pursue this grant money. It's available. Some of you have been on the sidelines waiting. Like time is up. Time is up. You got to do this for yourself. I have a coach that tells us all the time, Linda, you're the one you've been waiting for. Nobody is coming to save us, right? And I'm saying that to you. I'm passing it on to all of you. You're the ones you've been waiting for. You are it, right? So equip yourself to do it. So right now, everybody, I believe in manifestation. I want everybody right now, just before you leave, to put into the webinar chat, I am ready to get grant money. Like speak this out. I am ready to get grant money. Get this out of you. Get this out of you. I am ready to get grant money. I am ready to get grant money. I hear you, Maya. I am ready to get grant money. I want all of you to write this into the chat. I want you to get this out of you because I know some of you have been sitting back waiting for, I don't know, but it's no longer time to wait, right? There's so much being thrown at you to discourage you, to have you give up, but you can see there's money available, right? But please come into a community where you can get answers, right? I can't tell you how many people thought there were no grants available because of something that came out of the White House. And nothing could be further from the truth. That's right, Pamela, Sandra, that's what I'm talking about, right? I'm ready to get grant money. Perquita, right? Cheryl, Dean, I'm ready to get grant money. Chris, Yvette, Doretha, like get this out of you, right? Antoinette, write this down. Carol, write this down. Susie, write this down. Get this out. Jessica, right? And this is, I'm getting ready to butcher your name. Is it Henich? Henich, I think it is. Write this down. Charlene, right? Lisa, Victoria. Just write it down before you leave. Please just get this out of you. Put this out. Put this out into the universe. Put it out there. I'm ready to get grant money because this so much of it is it starts up here, right? And you can't let the fear of writing a grant keep you from this. That was a question that I had earlier. Actually, was a comment. The person was very forthright, very transparent. Like, I'm scared. It's okay. Do this scared, but do it scared with some help and some support, right? I've been in this industry a long time. If you let me help you, I will. If you let me help you, I will. All right. So, Juanita, Cynthia, Dwayne, right? Really, I want you all to write this down because this is important that you finally get this out of you and just put it out there and move forward. Whatever you do, don't stop. Don't be discouraged. Don't stop. There's too much grant money available. Are sources making it a little bit more difficult? Yes. That's why you have to be in a community that can give you the right answers, right? Right. Chris, send me an email. All right. Send me an email. Yes, they have, you can pay by Cash App. It's part of the payment option. You can pay by Cash App. All right. Now it's Q&A time. There you go. This is it. This is it, Cynthia. I cannot, there's no way I can agree with this more. Everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. I cannot agree with that more. And I've seen organizations again and again and again just do it scared. Oh, you would be surprised. But here you have support. And guess what? In the Facebook group, now this is on a volunteer basis. When you come into the Facebook group, let's say you want to put in your pitch deck or you started writing the grant a bit and you just want another set of eyes on it. I have a lot of people in the Facebook group. I have professional grant writers that are students. I have people with doctorates in education. Just, I have a file. Put in the file and just ask on a volunteer basis, would someone put another set of eyes on this so that you know, so that you get feedback? And if I'm in there, and I'm in there a lot, I'll skim it for you. I'll give you feedback, right? Because this is important. I need for you to know that you are supported. All right? All right. You get the Facebook group link when you buy the course. You buy the course, you get 3 emails. One email will be your link to create your username and your password. And you get into the course and you get started. You're not waiting on me. This is all online. Everything's even downloadable. And then you'll get a link to that Facebook group. Oh, you want to be in the Facebook group. It is amazing. There are so many grants in there. And if you come into the Facebook group, I'm going to ask you a question. Answer the question. If you answer the question, I will help you immediately. And you know, it's always best to stay until the end. I have a surprise for you. Now, you might have heard of BIPOC, Black Indigenous People of Color. That's more important than ever before now because of what's going on with people trying to erase DEI. I have a list of grants that was cultivated by organizations in support of DEI, a list of grant opportunities for BIPOC, Black Indigenous People of Color, right? A list of 300. If you buy the course today, you'll get the list for free. I'll give you the list for free if you buy the course today. You'll get the list for free. All right, 300, that's in addition to the 600 grants that are in the course. This is an additional list, right? Because I want to help you as much as possible because there are there are rules and executive orders and just a lot, right, that is being thrown against you. And I need for you to know that there are those that support you, including me. All right. And I'm here to help you. All right. I'm going to start with the Q&A. I don't see any questions in the Q&A box, so I'm going over to the webinar chat where I saw several. So give me a moment. Let me get through here. All right. Let's see. Yes, you get a certificate at the end, and it's tax deductible. So yes, people are asking, you write it off. So if you are for profit, you write off the course. It is tax deductible. It is a business and an educational expense. Even the coaching with me, you can write that off too. All right, let's see. Let's see. I'm looking for free grant databases. I gave you one. The Foundation Directory Online is free at your local library. How do you become attractive to receive a grant? Literally go through what I just taught you. There's a go just replay this entire webinar and do exactly what I mentioned that you do, right? Become grant ready, go to that slide. Make sure you have your legal documents in order, right? Make sure that you have an idea of how much money you need and what do you need the money for? That budget is important. How are you using the money? What are you using it for? You're going to become attractive to the foundation if you are aligned with where they're giving money to. If they're giving money for organizations that serve homeless veterans and you serve homeless veterans and you can show that I have impact, I've been serving them, this is what we've been able to accomplish, right? You're going to have a much better chance. You're going to be more attractive. That's why I told you about the word impact. Everything I taught you today is in service of you being able to win grants, right? Everything I taught you today is in service of you being able to win grants and becoming more attractive, right, to the organization. And that's why even if you serve communities of color, right, make sure your program is tight. Make sure you go through this replay and you know that you're ready. Or you can buy the course and we'll make sure you're ready, right? You come into the Facebook group for questions, you come on that live group coaching call, and you are learning how to write a grant in a very professional way so that what you submit to that foundation is what they want to see. All right? How to write a 3-year financial plan for $1 million. So if you want to write a 3-year financial plan, so you can do that, right? There are some documents. So typically it's like a 3-year financial plan or a 5-year financial plan where you write out, right, what you expect to make over the course of the next 3 years. Like it's a 3-year budget or a 5-year budget. So we have some templates. I could certainly give you a template. We also have templates though for creating just a regular budget, but I want to give you SCORE because SCORE has a lot of templates, including multi-year templates that you're talking about. SCORE is a great organization. They're funded by the Small Business Administration and they're totally free and they give you mentors. So it's score.org. But I have templates in the course. I remember I talked about you wanting to send that letter to the foundation to meet with them. I have a template. I talked about you creating that partnership. I have a template. I have an entire grant application template so that as you are answering the questions in the course, you're writing in this Word document and you're creating this great template. All right. Let's see. Email. Melissa, if you could drop my email into the webinar chat, please. Let's see. Let me just go back up here because there were other questions and I don't want to miss them. All right, let's see here. Thank you, Victoria. You thought about what as an artist, Dwayne? Let's see. Okay. Right. So it's okay. Let me show you really quickly. I'm going to do this live because people are asking. I'm going to do this live. Let me show you how to buy the course live. I'm going to share my screen. Now, let me make sure that's working. All right. Now, you hit for the 297, the one payment. I'm going to do this quickly. Hit that 497. You have a coupon. I'm doing this live. Put in FEB 13. That's your code. Hit apply. You see how it took off $200? Now you're only paying 297. You want to meet with me privately? Add to the order 195. Now you're at 492, but you don't have to do that. Let's remove it. Put in your email address. Just put in email address. Now you're going to click this payment box until you get to the payment plan. You're going to hit pay another way. Then you're going to hit new payment. And then that little box comes up. So there's your affirm. Drop down right there, little drop down arrow. There's your Afterpay. There's your Klarna. You can use Google Pay. You can use Cash App Pay. You can use a bank withdrawal. You can use a credit card. All right. Now, let's say you want to pay us 2 times. By the way, if you choose the 4-month same as cash, you still get everything initially, right? You get everything initially. We don't like drip our course. You get everything right away. You want the payment plan, hit 2 times 275 because that's what everybody else is paying. But remember, you have a coupon. Put in FEB 13T for 2 payments. Hit apply. Now you're paying $175 a month for 2 months. And yes, you can add on the 195 if you want to. All right. So I believe that is it. All right. So other questions. Let me just get to the other questions. I do see others. You will get a link to the Facebook group when you buy the course. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Let me just make sure here. All right. So I gave you information about the templates. And let's make sure there are no other questions. So you've got 3 days to get the additional $200 off. You have 2 days. And I have other resources. I have other services that are, significantly higher than what you're paying for the course. And those are for people who pay for my services. I'm going to Seattle in 2 weeks to teach in person. Someone wants me to come there and literally teach them grant writing in person. So that's what I'm doing. Or I teach to organizations, sometimes remotely, sometimes in person, right? I do grant reviews, right? I do not write grants. I do not write grants. I do have a grant writing partner. If you are wanting to hire a grant writer, I have a grant writing partner. I don't write grants, but I do review grants. So those are just some of the additional services. So yes, I am available to meet with organizations. All right, grants do fund your annual income as you apply for them as well. Well, I'm not sure what you mean. Your annual income. So if you have an operating budget, right, you can apply for grants that would pay for part of your operating budget. So that's an operating grant. Or let's say you have a particular program, you can also apply for a grant that will pay for a particular program. But if you have like administrative costs, like your supplies, or you need a website, or you need to pay your phone bill, right? Or you just other types of business expenses, you can apply for a grant, or nonprofit expenses, you can apply for a grant to pay those expenses. Yeah, so it doesn't have to be attached to a program. That's an operating grant. All right, let's see. Credit unions. I would advise you to go to a credit union for a sponsorship, not necessarily a grant. Go to banks for grants and sponsorships. Speaking of the two, this is the difference. When you get a grant, the organization providing you with the grant, they can't expect anything tangible, right, from you because they gave you the grant, right? That's not the way that works. But if somebody gives you a sponsorship, if an organization gives you a sponsorship, they're expecting something in return. Maybe they want their name in your program booklet, or they want their ad in your program booklet, or they want you to put maybe their little tchotchkes in your swag bag, or they want to talk to your audience, right? They're going to want something. And I was having this conversation a couple of weeks ago. A young lady has a marketing organization where she helps attorneys to market their legal firms. And those are typically high income individuals. So I told her, think about going to your car dealership, your a luxury car dealership in your community, whether it's Lexus or Cadillac, whatever, Mercedes. Work out a sponsorship where they're paying you whatever amount of money, $30,000 for the opportunity to have their car sit in front of the convention center where you're having your meeting or the conference hall where you're having your meeting, right? You would be surprised how you can get sponsorships just by asking some of your local businesses. Again, diversify, rely on not just grants and sponsorships and donations and contracts. All right. All right. I believe we're just about done. Let me just make sure. There's mentorship. I'm not sure if you're asking me or if you're asking a general question. If you're asking a general question, you can get mentorship through score.com. If you want me to coach you, I do provide ongoing coaching services. So send me an email. But yes, I provide ongoing grant coaching services. All right. Let's see. Let's see. This, let me make sure I'm reading. Jacqueline, can you send me an email? Send me an email so that we can get that straightened out because we don't have a $47 payment plan. That doesn't exist. So send me an email and let me know how I can help you. Let's see. What days do you meet? And is it on Zoom? So the coaching call, the live group coaching call is once a month and is usually the last Monday of the month, and it is on Zoom. The course sits on a program called Thinkific, which is an online software program. That's Thinkific. That has nothing to do with Facebook. It's a completely separate platform. The Facebook group is obviously in Facebook, but the group coaching calls that happen once a month, that's in Zoom. And if you come into the Facebook group, you will be able to see a lot of the prior recording calls from the live group coaching because oftentimes people are asking questions that you might want to know that's important for you. All right. Do most grants need sponsors? I'm not sure what you're asking. Do most grants need sponsors? No, no. I'm not sure what you mean by that. But if you have let's say you're a nonprofit and you have your 501(c)(3), I don't know if you mean like a fiscal sponsor. If you have your own 501(c)(3), you don't need a sponsor, right? And then if you are a for-profit, you don't need a sponsor at all because you're a for-profit. Only if you are a nonprofit and you don't have your 501(c)(3), some organizations get fiscal sponsors until they can get their 501(c)(3). I wouldn't advise it because I think you need to have your 501(c)(3), right? Because organizations, if they're giving you money based on your programming, they want to be able to give the money directly to you. If you have a fiscal sponsor, the money goes to the fiscal sponsor, and then the sponsor gives the money to you if you don't have your 501(c)(3), and they do. So you just have to be careful with that. I currently sit in business development on my corporate job. I answer RFPs regularly. I have secured over $30 million in contracts. For the company that I work for, I am sick of enriching other people and I'm ready to start my own business. Why not? I mean, clearly you have a skill, right? So why not? Why not do it? All right. All right. Thank you, Susie. Let's see if there are any other questions. And then we're going to wrap it up. Let's see. Chris sent me an email. The Cash App. So I went through that. So you have to connect through the portal. That's a payment option. The Cash App Pay is a payment option inside of the payment program. Right, the Cash App. I literally just showed that, but I can show it again if you want me to. Let's see. At what point in the concept of your business, product, or service is grant writing most accepted? It's always best if you can show impact, meaning that you have some experience. You could be able to show impact after 6 months. It depends on the nature of your business. Now, the longer a business is in service and providing resources to its clients and can provide more impact, yes, it's going to increase your chances of getting a grant. You have more experience, you can show more impact, but keep in mind there are some grants for startups. So if you're applying for a grant for a startup, make sure you have a great concept. Make sure that whatever business you are starting, you have identified a need, because the organization really is taking a risk on giving you money with no proof of concept because you haven't even started yet. And they're giving you money to start, right? But I have to say, some grants consider startups to be years 0 through 3. So even if you're in your first or second or third year, for many industries, that's still considered a startup. So you can still apply for a startup grant. But if you haven't even opened your doors, you need a phenomenal concept and a way to show that it's going to work, right? Because keep in mind, SBIR, that's the research and development federal grant. They provide $1 million grants. And oftentimes it's what is based on a concept, right? Hasn't even been implemented yet. So it's possible. Just make sure you have a great concept. All right, let's see. Great question. Great question. It's score.org. It is score.org. Great question. Do foundations look at your personal finances when granting for-profit businesses? No, no. In the 17 years, I am unaware that any organization has ever pulled a private credit score to determine whether or not they're going to give funding. I haven't seen it. Keep in mind, this is important. When you are seeking a grant, it's not for your private use, it's for your company or your nonprofit, right? It's for your company or your nonprofit. Now, before we do anything else, we have to give Jacqueline some love because Jacqueline bought the course. Jacqueline, thank you for doing this for you. I'm going to see you in the Facebook group. I need to see some clapping of hands and some hearts for Jacqueline. You made an important step, right? Don't be left behind. There's all kinds of misinformation being provided. It's very challenging for me to know the truth about grant writing and to constantly hear the misinformation that's being provided. Some of it through the media, through TV, right? So thank you for being in this community where you can get the help that you need, right? You can get your questions answered, not by a bot, by a real person. And this is a community. And when you come into the Facebook group, remember, I'm going to ask you a question, answer it, because I'm going to help you immediately. And you get that list of over 300 organizations that provide grants that are supportive of BIPOC. All right, so good for you. I'll see you over in the Facebook group. All right. Let's see. Any other questions? Another great question. Once you write one grant, can it be used as a foundation for submitting for others? That is the basis of my course. Absolutely. I'm getting you to write a tremendous grant template that you are going to, that's why this makes it easier and faster for you. Because once you get that great grant template, you use it to start applying for multiple grants instead of starting from scratch all over again, right? You create the grant template here, you take it and you start applying for grants. That's why it makes it, this process that I'm offering makes it easier, but you do it with support. You're not alone, right? You're answering those questions Even when you get into the course, every lesson has what's called a discussion starter. Every lesson. If you get stuck, you have a question, you don't know how to answer it, open up a discussion starter. Those questions come directly to me and I answer them. And for $300 for everything, for the access that you get to me, there is nothing else like this on the market that I can assure you of. But again, this is my service to the community. This is how I help people, right? Because this is important to me now more so than ever before when they're trying to continue to stack the deck, right? But I know organizations that are tearing it down as fast as they're trying to stack it, they're tearing it down. And I want to be one of those individuals to help you, right? To help you because there are people waiting on your skills and your talents. You all need to know this. There are people waiting on you to manifest what you know is inside of you. You know it's in there, right? But please don't let the fear stop you. Don't let what you see on TV stop you, right? That is the goal, is for you to be discouraged and to stop. All right. All right. Let's see. Any other questions? And then I am going to wrap it up. How long does it generally take to get approved for a grant? 3 months? Sometimes a lot sooner. So let's say you have a deadline and you apply close to the deadline, you can get a grant sooner than that if you are approved, right? But generally 3 months, but it can take a lot sooner. But let me tell you a trend that's happening now, and it will benefit you. There are smaller micro grants that are available, $1,000 grants, $2,000 grants. You can get those grants much sooner because a lot of that money is coming out of discretionary spending. So you may get that grant in 3 or 4 weeks, right? So that's what we're seeing. That's one of the trends in grant writing because organizations want to help more individuals. Instead of giving large dollar grants to fewer, they're giving smaller grants to many. All right. Do you have to have a document and report for your grant usage money? Great question. Absolutely. You need a grantee report. Now, most organizations will ask you to complete a grantee report, which you will lay out how you spent the money. Now, I have to say every organization is different, but most of the ones that I've dealt with, you're not sending in receipts. Like they're not that specific, but they want you to create a grantee report to let them know how you spent their money. Because if you said you were going to spend it on an executive director for $50,000 and then you got the money and you started hiring independent contractors or you started using it on IT or you went and bought a car for the company, you're going to have to pay that money back. So they just want you to outline and showcase, okay, this is what I spent the money on, and make sure it aligns with what you say you were going to spend the money on. Now, if it's a general operating support grant, that's up to you. Like you can tell them that I spent it on the operations, supplies, personnel. You can still create a line, right? A line listing how you spent it. But I can tell you at operating grants, usually they don't even require that. They gave that money to you so that you could help shore up your infrastructure and your organization. When you see the request to just showcase specifically how you spent it, that's usually for like a program grant or a product grant or a service grant. All right. Excuse me. But great questions. All right. All right. We got to stop. We got to stop what we're doing and give Yvette some love. Yvette was like, hold up, Jacqueline. You are not leaving me behind. I need to see some clapping of hands and some hearts for Yvette. Yvette bought the course. Yvette, I will see you in the Facebook group. I need to see some love for Yvette. That's right. I need to see some love for Yvette. I'm glad you're doing it for you. All right. Do you have a $29.70 payment plan for 10 months? No. You have a 2-month payment plan. If you want to stretch it out to 4 months, you follow those directions that I gave you. You go in, hit the 297, and then go over, and it's either Klarna, Afterpay, or one other. Klarna, Afterpay, or a firm, and they will get you to 4 months. You work that out with them, and then you get all of the information initially, but we don't do 10-month payment plans. Let's see. Can you help me write a grant that will allow me to pay for your training? No, I don't write grants. Let's see. Thank you, Galinda. Jacqueline, sure. So the email address has been dropped into the chat. Excuse me. So if you could, Melissa, just one more time, just drop the email. So yes, I do. I do travel to teach. Again, I'll be in Seattle in a couple of weeks because an organization wanted me to come there and teach two organizations that are working, they're working together, and they wanted me to come teach them in person grant writing. I've been thinking on it for about 3 months now. Yeah, it's time. It's time. And there's so much, oh my gosh, there's so much going on right now in this area of grants, right? That's why I just want you to be in a position where you can get the money. And this is for all of you. This is going to be very helpful. When you search for grants, search in 3 areas. One is your mission. Align your mission to the mission of the organization giving money. Second, your industry. Go to your industry. You want to open up the hair care salon? Shea Moisture. They make shampoo and conditioner, same industry. They have a grant. You want to open up a restaurant? Kevin Hart has a partnership with an alcohol company where they are giving grants laser focused on communities of color, by the way. Some of these organizations, I love it because they're being creative in the language that they're using, but they know who they want to target. And I think it's fantastic. But the same industry, right? Liquor, alcohol, restaurant. You want to open up a nail salon? Find out where they're not Opie. They make the nail polish if they have a grant. You're in transportation, FedEx has a grant. So always look to your industry, right? You want to open up a restaurant again? There are chefs that have grants and scholarships, famous chefs. Yes. You want to become a fashion designer? Go to a fashion house. Tory Burch has a grant. Eileen Fisher has a grant, right? This is information that you're not going to get from just a typical course, right? But you get it when you're in a community of support. And someone like me who I've been in this business 17 years, right? All right. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Jessica. Excellent. Right. The contract is totally free. If you could drop the link to the contract class that we're going to be teaching, that's important because, again, there's so much misinformation about how you get contracts. People literally think you have to be some major corporation to get a contract. You can be a sole proprietor, LLC, a coach, a consultant, and get contracts. All right. I think you should seriously consider it, Victoria. SCORE is a great organization for any of you considering opening up your business. It's such a great, great, great resource and it's free. It's free. Can you reiterate the types of grants? Yes. I'm not sure what you mean by types of grants, but I was going through what areas, what categories, right? You can search for grants in. Search for grants that match your mission statement. Search for grants in your industry. And the last one is your ethnicity, gender. Now, I know with DEI, they're taking away a lot of those preferences. They don't want companies to really even focus. But I'm sorry, there are still organizations that give you money because you're a woman-owned business or that you're a Black-owned business. So I would highly advise you to get in this game and try to get this money. While these organizations are still providing money, I literally gave you a list of multiple grants that are available now. All right. And for all of you, there are multiple categories where you should be looking for grants, right? Multiple categories where you should be seeking grants based on what you do. All right. Also, companies match funding so that you can get state grants and federal funds matched towards your funding. Um, when you get grants, yes, some organizations will match your grant, right? Some organizations absolutely. So you may be working for maybe a larger organization that is very supportive of the work that you do. So they might say, if you can get a grant, we'll match it, right? We will give you an additional amount of money based on another organization getting you a grant that's called a matching grant. So yes, you'll find that as well. Are the grants state specific? Some of them are, some of them are not. A lot of the local local community foundations are specific to their region. They're specific to their community. The Cleveland Foundation, but I have to say, even the Cleveland Foundation gives grants, I know for a fact, all over the country. But you'll see the location specific grants mainly with the local community foundations, like the national grants all over the country. But yes, some grants are state specific, most are not. Most are not. Do most corporations require that you have your own website? I would say that's going to be a huge benefit for you. And please don't let that stop you. Don't let that stop you because you can create a website with a company like Wix or Squarespace. It's not complicated. It doesn't have to be difficult, right? It doesn't need to be a 2-month project, right? The young lady that is one of the moderators for the Facebook group, she is my website developer and designer. She's been in the business for 25 years, right? If you need a website, you can come into the Facebook group, ask her advice. She'll be able to give you all the advice you need because this is what she does every day. This is what she's been doing for 25 years. She will be able to give you all the advice you need on creating a cheap, quick, beautiful website. So don't ever let that stop you. All right. So long as you operate or can operate in the state the grant wrote for, then you can apply. If it's specific to that area. So if you choose, let's say the Cleveland Foundation, and if the grant states that you need to be in that location, you need to be in Cleveland to get the grant, then you need to be located in Cleveland. So that is a local community foundation grant. Some local community foundation grants will give you money if you are in the county. Some will give you money if you are in the state, but there are other national grants where it doesn't matter where you're located. You can be located anywhere in the country and get the grant. I don't want you all to think there's like one grant portal and everything emulates from one grant. There are thousands of grants, thousands of organizations that give grants. It is based on their criteria. But if you work with a local community foundation, they're going to want you to reside or to serve people who live in that community, right? But that's not the only grant that's available. But we help you more with that if you buy the course and you come into the Facebook group. Are there any grants for writers? Yes. I was asked to present a presentation for an authors group in Facebook, and it forced me to research grants for authors. So yes, there are grants for writers. The list, what list are you referring to? You will get the list of, you bought the course, you will get the list of the 300 grants, you will get that list. And you're going to get the replay. Take your screenshots. So when you get the replay, as you're playing it, just take screenshots of your screen and you'll be able to get the slides. All right, I think we're done. Let me just go back over to the Q&A really quickly. What what does your partner charge for grants? That would be a conversation between you and her. But just know if you are going to be using a professional grant writer, there's criteria. If you're working with a professional grant writer, you don't pay that grant writer based on whether or not you get a grant. You don't pay the grant writer a percentage of the grant funding. That's not how professional grant writers work. That's not how I worked. That's just not how we work, right? Professional grant writers are absolutely paid upfront. Absolutely. Whether you get the grant or not, we're paid upfront. Typically, you pay them a portion when they start writing, and you pay them the last portion when they submit the grant, but they're always paid upfront. Is it legal for a business to band together and say, do not give your nonprofit funds where there's a true need? You would really have to rephrase that because I'm not sure what you're asking. Is it legal for a business to band together and do not give your nonprofit funds? So the question is, who got the grant? So did the nonprofit get the grant money? Because if the nonprofit got the grant money in the nonprofit name in the 501c3, that money has to go to the nonprofit. If the grant went to the business and the business said, as a part of the resources that we offer and the products that we have and the services that we have, we utilize a nonprofit to help us to provide those services. If they wrote the nonprofit into the grant, this is where you need an MOU, which is a memorandum of understanding. So if you're going to go into partnership with an organization that's trying to get a grant and they're using you and your services to help them get the grant, you need that MOU, that document that outlines the responsibilities of that for-profit and the fact that if they get the, excuse me, grant money, they need to give you whatever you worked out in that contract. That's why contracts are important. If you're going to go into a legal partnership with an organization, then yes, they sign the document, they have to give you the funding, right? But it depends on whether or not that initial grant was going to the legal business or to the nonprofit. All right. Hopefully that explained it. All right, we're done. I want to thank you all for hopping on. This is so important that you came on so that you get correct information. And again, I can't stress this enough. It's February 13th. It's go time, people. It is go time. It is go time, right? Be in a community that can support you, that can answer your questions, that can help you sort through this maze that's ever changing, right? Literally was on like an hour training call with my Grant Professional Association to get the latest information on what is going on so that I can provide you with the information on what is going on. All right. So thank you so much. My name is Linda Peavy. I am creator of the course Grant Writing for Non-Writers, Keys to Winning Grant Proposals. You've got 3 days to get the additional $200 off. To get everything for $297, you've got 3 days, 3 days until Sunday. All right. So thank you so much. I want you to know that there are organizations that support you. I do not want you to give up. I want you to be encouraged. And I want you to know that there are organizations that support what you're doing. So make sure that what you do, that program, that service, whatever you want to do, you want to start an organization is strong enough to warrant that grant regardless of who you're serving. And that's how you get around this DEI situation, right? And that's what the course will help you do to present, right, the best of what you have to offer on that grant application. So I want to thank you again because I know you could have been elsewhere and for hanging in here and staying until the end. And I hope to see you in the Facebook group. I really do. I hope you're able to get the course. It's tax deductible. You can spread it out over 4 payments if you want. But you saw the testimonials. Those are real people. They're in the Facebook group. If you want to come in and ask them, what did they do? Right? They're in the Facebook group. So thank you. Thank you so much. And I want you to have a fantastic weekend. And for the rest of the year, I want you to just keep moving forward regardless. Keep moving forward. This is too much information for you to ignore. Like, I don't want this to be another webinar that you attend and you don't do anything with the information. There are people waiting on you to manifest what is in here, right? Got to get beyond the fear. And I'm here to help you. All right? All right. I think that was it. We're done. Hopefully, also the training on Monday for the contracts, that link is in the chat too. That link is in the chat too. Let's see. Skinny tip. Let me give everyone this link. If you know anyone who you want to give this information to so that they can sign up, I'm putting this link into the chat. When you get the replay, you will get the webinar chat as well. I make sure I include the webinar chat. And I'm giving you a link so that people can sign up for future sessions. All right, so I believe this is it. Even not writers, grant writing for Black owners. So there's your link. If you please send that to anybody that you believe should hear this information and would be served well by the information. And again, think about signing up for the course on Monday. You just want to know what's going on with contracts and that they're far more accessible than what you think. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Have a blessed evening, a safe weekend, and have a phenomenal year. Just keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward and know that there are organizations that support you. Let's see. I probably put in something wrong. Let's see. Grant writing for writers.com/grant writing for. That should be right. I see. Thank you. I see right there. I see what I did. Let me write it again. That's what I get for writing fast. This one should work. And then we are going to wrap it up. Owners. All right, let me make sure. Grant writing on writers.com/grant writing for Black. Okay, let me know if this works. I will stay on. Let me know if that works. That should work. Let me click it. Yep, that one works. That one works. Let me get back into Zoom. So yep, that should be what you need. All right. Excellent, excellent. So just send that to anybody that you feel would be helped, who just need this information about grants. All right. Again, thank you so much. I appreciate it. For the next 3 days, don't worry, you will get the replay, the email, right? And the link to the course and the code for those of you who want to buy over the course of the next 3 days. You have until Sunday. Have a fabulous Valentine's Day or Galentine's Day, right? All right. Thank you so much. And hope to see you soon. Hope to see you all in the Facebook group. Bye-bye.